Have anything for the streaming wars?
Yes, I do. I've got two articles here. This is from The Ringer. This is, I think, a pretty recent article, February 5th, so very recent. Rather obvious headline here. It says Disney Plus has become a serious player in the streaming wars, but there's more to come. It says on the back of The Mandalorian, the new service grew at a pace only Netflix has seen. But with HBO Max and Peacock yet to debut, the battle for viewers is just beginning, which is, of course, what we talk about a lot on this show. So, a few months into 2020, the streaming wars are no longer a distant blip on the horizon. They're raging all around us. Services are clamoring for our attention and vying for our viewing hours. HBO Max and Peacock are still waiting in the wings, but Disney Plus and Apple Plus TV are moving from noisy newcomers to established presences. Projects like The Mandalorian and The Morning Show are no longer hypotheticals. They're spawning memes and picking up awards and absorbing the buzz from viral moments of said award shows. In other words, it's time for a check-in. Without a recent major launch, complete with a full slate of brand-establishing series to pursue, the past few months have been marked less by singular events than a slow drip of news items adjusting observers to our new normal. To that end, we're recapping the latest developments in our brave new world of mega mergers and endless premieres as we actually experience them. One data point at a time, slowly and surely coalescing, Monet-like, into a larger picture. Disney Plus, The Mandalorian may well be the post-Netflix boom's biggest success story to date. The Mandalorian, a neo-Western tracking the namesake bounty hunter's quest to protect a 50-year-old infant from Werner Herzog, I hope I didn't butcher his name too bad, established a low-stakes, high-production value style of Star Wars storytelling that serves as a critical counterpoint to the film saga's struggles. Who has time to worry about Solo's underperformance or the rise of Skywalker's disappointment when they're busy cooing over Baby Yoda? And yet The Mandalorian's most direct follow-up, apart from Season 2 coming next fall, is currently on hold. This is something that we missed from last week. A previously announced prequel series about Obi-Wan Kenobi starring Ewan McGregor and helmed by Mandalorian alum Deborah Chow was put on hiatus and likely downsized from 6 episodes to 4 as Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy oversees revisions to the scripts. This is a move that can be interpreted in 2 ways. Maybe Kennedy is micromanaging and undermining an author's vision, which are the same tendencies widely blamed for Solo and Skywalker's creative mediocrity. Maybe Kennedy's trying to avoid the mediocrity by taking time to deliver a worthy successor and not rushing the Kenobi series to meet audience demand. Either way, the hiccup is notable for a service that's otherwise been almost frightening in its competence. And that is interesting because I wanted to talk about that last week because this news came out last week about the problems with Obi-Wan. And I hadn't heard this before, that apparently now the order for the episodes has been reduced. A lot of people are very angry right now at Kathleen Kennedy because they're saying that this is her fault. And ultimately, it is her fault. If she truly is the president of Lucasfilm, the buck stops here. This is her fault, and this is bad press, and it makes her look really bad. Ironically, she just got an award, I guess, across the pond for the British Filmmakers Association or whatever it is. She just got like some sort of award from them, which a lot of people were kind of scratching their heads about that. But this is kind of weird. You know what I mean? It's like there was all this goodwill and hype about the Obi-Wan show, and something happened. I don't know if the scripts are terrible. But like this article says, a lot of people think that Kathleen Kennedy is micromanaging. I don't know if that's true because I feel like Kathleen Kennedy is a lot like a figurehead. I don't know how into daily operations she actually is, especially now. I think she might have been more that micromanager at the beginning when she had a lot more power and a lot more confidence from Iger. Because I think a lot of that confidence is gone. I think that's why Feige's coming on board to fix this mess. I think that's why Favre's coming on board to fix this mess, So So I don't know. I don't know what to make of the troubles with Obi-Wan. Who's really to blame? Like I said, technically speaking, it's her because she's supposed to be the president of the company, but she does have to answer to Iger. I mean, I don't know. It could be possible that he had concerns with the first scripts that they got. I don't know. I don't have that kind of insider information, but I do find it interesting and kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. I find it personally myself. I find it a little unfortunate that they decreased the show order for Obi-Wan. I would
That's
prefer to
terrible.
see, yeah, I would prefer to see more of Obi-Wan as opposed to less of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is, especially Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, is the character that people are clamoring for the most. Um, I didn't hate Solo, but it's one of those things that the thing I kept hearing over and over again is no one was asking for a Han Solo prequel movie that everyone's been interested in or inquiring and asking about Ewan McGregor returning as Obi-Wan since Disney bought Star Wars from Lucas, from George Lucas. So um, there's definitely interest in Obi-Wan. So the idea that they're actually going to reduce the number of episodes for Obi-Wan when that's the one thing that Star Wars fans, casual and diehard, are most interested in, that strikes me as a little weird. If you're only going to do a limited series with Obi-Wan, then please do 8 episodes. Don't just do 6. Even Discovery season 2 was, I think it was season 2, got bumped up in production. They actually did, I think it was 13 episodes of season 2. So, even CBS realized it's like, people are kind of liking this Pike guy. Let's kick out an extra episode, So I don't understand the logic behind decreasing it unless, they're not confident in the story they have. So if you don't have a good story, you're right to retool it, but I don't know if I'd start off by decreasing what you're planning to do,
Well, I think it's kind of funny because the Mandalorian was only 8 episodes in its first season, and sort of kind of the new standard with a lot of streaming content, and even if you go all the way back to HBO and what they were doing with Game of Thrones, we've kind of gotten used to these epic 10-episode seasons. Okay, I think kind of Game of Thrones kind of set that standard of these very expensive shows, and so we only get 10 episodes a season. Okay, and that was before the streaming wars even really started really going, and that was on a cable channel. So what we have now is things like Disney where they're doing 8-episode seasons, so it's even less, and we're talking about episodes that are only like half an hour. And then now we're talking about Obi-Wan being only 6 episodes. Yeah, I don't like this trend at all because I'm paying for this content. When it comes to streaming
right.
services, I'm paying for this. Okay. And while yes, the nice big catalogs of all the old stuff is great and all that kind of stuff, I'm more interested actually in seeing these new shows, quite frankly. And it just seems to me like we're getting less and less for our money, and that's a terrible direction to be going in. This article also points out that the other releases, for Disney Plus, the Marvel shows, says the Falcon and the Winter Soldier isn't out until August, and then while the trippy-looking genre-bending WandaVision won't hit until December. And we've talked about this before. Is it seems like there's this big gap with Disney Plus right now, where it's like there's nothing.
Yeah.
I guess some people are excited about the we covered the trailer for the Clone Wars, but I don't think either one of us is a huge Clone Wars fan. You know what I mean? So I know that they're out there. I mean, I see them. I mean, I see people go crazy about Ahsoka and all that kind of stuff, but the numbers just aren't there, compared with like the Mandalorian or something like that. The impact isn't there, or to compare it with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, the anticipation for that, but it's not coming out until August. So it's gonna be like there's gonna be all this new content like at the end of the year. What's gonna keep me on Disney Plus right now?
Right.
What's gonna keep me on that service? I've already talked about. I went ahead and got the bundle, so I have Hulu and ESPN Plus, and I can never say enough bad things about ESPN Plus and what a ripoff it is. Okay, because I think it's terribly misleading. It's really misleading what ESPN Plus actually is. And right now, I'm kind of just staying for Hulu because Hulu does have a lot of cool content on it. And I actually want to go back and watch The Orville because I haven't seen the first season of The Orville. So I want to go back and watch that, especially as it comes closer to the next season of Orville coming out. But there's nothing really making me want to stay on Disney Plus right now. You know, it's like, well, I guess I'll come back in August. How do you feel
Yeah,
about that?
I'm still paying for it, but we haven't really watched much of anything on it. I've been finding myself, ironically enough, back on Netflix and again watching things on Hulu. I've been watching probably a lot more of my CBS All Access, not just because of Picard, but just because of other things that are just on there that I've been watching. I've been watching some of the impeachment stuff, since I figured out how to access all the new stuff. So I've been, mostly on Hulu, Netflix, and CBS, although I'm still currently paying for Disney Plus, but I haven't really been watching much of anything on it. I have been recommending things that people haven't seen that are on Disney Plus that people might like, kind of here and there, chatting with people and stuff. But I'm excited for the stuff coming up, but it is. I saw that there was that comment that Iger had that I think came out today or yesterday or something on a conference call, and he mentioned how they're deliberately rolling out their content, and they intended for it to kind of go this way, that they would rather focus on, quality as opposed to just rushing a bunch of stuff out. But there is a huge drought right now. There is a huge dearth of new content, for those of us that, are more genre fans. Those of us that are more into stuff like Star Wars and Avengers and whatever, there's just not much kind of happening. But, overall, there's not much happening at Marvel right now. I mean, I know they have things in active production, but, even with the TV, on the TV side, there were a lot of shows that supposedly were in production that were supposed to be hitting. And there's just a lot of things just kind of not happening right now. So I don't know. I would have thought they would have had something ready to go. I don't know if they've hit production delays. And that's why they have this weird hole right now in their programming. But I don't feel like it was intentional. I feel like there was something that was supposed to fill this gap, and something just wasn't ready, and they had to they're just having to kind of vamp.
Yeah. I think that I can't imagine it's intentional. That's some of the worst planning ever if it's intentional, because that's just silly, because again, I don't feel like there's anything keeping me on Disney Plus right now, other than I guess the back catalog. There's really nothing keeping me there. This article also gets into Apple a little bit. It talks about Apple CEO Tim Cook's only mention of TV Plus on the company's latest earnings call was that the product was off to a rousing start, but no actual statistics were necessary. So that's kind of indication that Apple is kind of losing this war right now. That I don't think they've had the reception that they were hoping for. It says a recent outside study suggests Apple's internal promotion didn't convert many hardware customers into subscribers. It said only 10% to be precise. But rousing start is subjective enough that no one can say Cook was wrong. Exactly. So it's kind of funny, the double speak that they use in these companies sometimes to kind of turn, try to spin sort of a downer. But I will say long term, and I've said this many times, long term, I think that Apple is probably situated the best of any of these streaming platforms because they've got so much money. That's just the bottom line. Netflix actually might break themselves with all the content they're doing. They're going into debt. There's clearly a problem there because that's the only way they see to stay competitive, I think, is hey,
Right.
We just got to be the guys with the content, because they don't have Disney Plus's problem. Netflix is always coming out with new stuff constantly. So they don't have Disney Plus's big gap of nothing. You know what I mean? Plus, they still have a very large back catalog of other stuff, even though a lot of these studios have gone and gotten their IP. Netflix still does have a lot of older movies and TV shows and all that kind of stuff. It's still there. So there's.
And I was just going to add, like, for example, like on, using Netflix as an example, now that we have this hole now for genre programming on Disney Plus, you turn around and you look at Netflix, and Netflix has, Sabrina, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, season, I think 3, is available to watch on Hulu right now. I've heard some good things about it. Haven't had a chance to check it out yet. And then there is also, we talked about Lost in Space season 2 is on there as well. I've heard some pretty good things about that. Again, I apologize for having a chance to check that out. Hopefully here soon. I've just got too much going on. And then I did recently actually make my way through Unbelievable on Netflix, which was really, really good. I highly recommend it. That was a show that Michael Chabon actually co-created. He's one of the showrunners for the first season of Picard. Unbelievable was really good. And then also, again, I will continue to recommend on Hulu for those people who have never seen Justified. You should check it out. I really like that show.
We should mention too. I mean, we did a review of Living with Yourself on the podcast, really which that seemed to be kind of way under the radar, which was really surprising to me because Paul Rudd does have quite a bit of juice right now. At least I thought he did. Apparently not as much as I thought. So, and I thought it was a good show. But yeah, the thing is with Netflix though is they got a lot of stuff, but it's also causing them financial problems because they are producing so much stuff.
Right. True.